Hi, Chef Joe with Healthy Kids Inc. and today we're going to be making a pesto chicken with a bread salad. So the very first thing that I've done in advance is I've cubed up a loaf of ciabatta bread. You can take a day-old loaf of stale bread. Any type of bread you want to use is fine for this application. I've drizzled it with olive oil. I've seasoned it with a little Italian seasoning, which is just basically maybe a little dried basil, oregano, a little garlic powder. That's completely optional, but I added that in. A little salt, a little pepper. We're going to pop these in the oven at 375 degrees until they're crispy and golden brown. So basically what we're doing here is just making croutons. This recipe, anytime you need croutons, do this. It's perfect. So we're going to pop those in the oven. Keep an eye on those. And now we're going to assemble our pesto. So we're going to use basil, which is traditional in a pesto, and then we're going to use kale. You could use spinach, kale, any leafy green will make pesto in a pinch. I've made it out of tons of different things, or a blend of the two like we're doing today. We've also got a couple cloves of garlic and some pine nuts, which is traditional in pesto. We already have a little bit of oil in the bottom, a little bit of lemon juice as well. I'm going to put in our basil, some of our kale, and kind of tear it up because it's going to get pulsed up anyway. We also have Parmesan cheese. Do a little bit, get it started and see where that gets us. Okay. A few good pulses until it starts to come together, and you can add some more. What we're going to do, we've got a couple of chicken breasts over here that if you start with a thicker chicken breast, you might want to wrap it in some plastic wrap and pound it out with a mallet or a heavy bottom pan. These are already relatively thin, so we won't have to do that, and that just kind of speeds up the cooking in the oven. The cooking temperature for the chicken is going to be the same as it is for our croutons, so we don't have to worry about adjusting the oven. It's still 375 degrees. We're going to do it until our chicken reaches an internal temperature of 165 degrees. Now, as I've said before, you can pull it out at about 155 to 160 and let carryover cooking, which is the residual heat in your pan, finish cooking it. That way you don't end up with tough, rubbery chicken that's way too overcooked. Some more cheese. We'll add a little bit more oil. Also, fresh cracked black pepper. A little pinch of salt. You always just want to have enough oil to kind of emulsify the mixture. Make it a smooth puree. You can also even add just a touch of water, or if you have it handy, a little bit of chicken stock also works as well. Let's see where that gets us. Thin it down just a little bit more with the rest of this water. It should be just about good to go. Alright, that is the consistency that we're looking for. Alright, so now for our bread salad. You can take any mixed vegetables that you want. Today we're using some broccoli, some cherry tomatoes. I've done this with peppers, carrots, really anything you've got in the fridge. This is kind of a hodgepodge salad that you can cater to your child's tastes. Whatever their favorite veggies are, you can feature. But this is just kind of a simple way to get you started. We've got some broccoli, florets. Don't be afraid to use the stems too. If you chop off the larger pieces of the stems, you can chop them down and make them smaller bite-sized pieces like these and add those in as well. Just kind of peel them just a little bit with a vegetable peeler just to take off the outer skin. and they're perfectly good to eat. You can even, if they're really stiff, you can blanch them quickly in some boiling water just to lightly soften them up. We've also got some fresh chopped basil that we're throwing in. Take a pinch of salt, a couple of cracks of black pepper. Our croutons that are already seasoned will also go in this mixture. We have cherry tomatoes. You can leave them whole or split them in half as I've done here. Just kind of toss that together and hit it with a little bit of lemon juice. All right. And then we're going to add our croutons to this when they come out of the oven. And we have our chicken on a plastic cutting board. Lightly season it because the pesto is already seasoned. Now, I like to use part of this mixture now, and then I like to leave some of it fresh to put on at the end. But you can put a nice dollop on top of your chicken and just kind of spread it around. No fuss required. And this will kind of brown in the oven and give it a nice flavor to the chicken. Pop these into the pan. Now these are going to go into the oven, I'm going to say for 10 to 12 minutes tops, maybe even a little bit shy, so you really kind of want to use your thermometer on this one and just cook it to the appropriate doneness, which is again 165 degrees. I'm going to pop those in. There those go. We're going to give our croutons a little shake. Need a couple of more minutes, so we'll come back and show you the finished product here in just a few minutes. Alright, our chicken has reached the appropriate internal temperature. It's setting at 163 degrees, so the heat that's left in this pan will continue it up to 165. So we'll let this rest for a few minutes before we plate it up and serve, and we'll show you in just a few minutes.